Hi, it's Mrs. Cheney. I want to talk to you today about my favorite medium in the world, Prismacolor pencils. Prismacolor pencils are quite pricey. In fact, there are $2 to $3 per color. I want to give you a little tip about them. They are super soft. If they roll off your table and hit the floor, what happens is the lead inside breaks into tiny little pieces. And then when you go stick it in the pencil sharpener, the lead pulls out. And that can be very frustrating. One time I took an entire box and dropped it on the floor and I cried, I cringed. They were okay because they're packaged pretty well in a metal tin when you buy them. And they're packaged in such a way that each pencil is like cradled. And that really helped. So I was okay. But when I drop a pencil, I more or less feel like I just murdered it. Okay? Because when that starts happening, it's useless. Sometimes, if you have a little hand sharpener and you sharpen your pencils with that hand sharpener, the lead will still pull out. It may not be your pencil. It might be the sharpener. So try a different sharpener if that's the issue. Keep that in mind, okay? Don't give up on your pencil. Try other techniques of sharpening. Sometimes the hand sharpeners, because you're twisting it, you're breaking the lead as you're putting it in the pencil, and then the tip is twisting off and busting, okay? So another little tip about these, because they're so expensive, if you buy them at like Hobby Lobby, you can buy a pack of them. Let's say there's 120 of them. Can you imagine what that would cost at $3 a pencil? I do know that if you purchase them in large quantities like that, it might only run you about $200, but still that is very expensive. And a lot of people that don't understand art think that that's just crazy to spend that on a colored pencil. But once you start using these, you will never want to use a Crayola or any other brand again. Prismacolors are my favorite. These are actually Prismacolor Premier. They're the really high dollar ones. They have some that they call Prismacolor Scholars, and it's a knockoff version. It's a little bit cheaper. You can buy those at Walmart. I've seen a 12 pack for like 10 bucks. So buy them. They work and they're pretty darn close. If you do want to purchase the pack at Hobby Lobby, if you want it for Christmas or your birthday or whatever, tell your parents or yourself to get on the Hobby Lobby website or get the app so that you can get that little coupon for 40% off, because that's quite a bit of savings with a set of Prismacolor pencils. All right, there's some things I want to show you. First of all, when you were in middle school, you were taught to just color, right? With a colored pencil. All right, let me zoom in. So this is Scarlet Lake, and it has a number on it, PC923. They are numbered so that if you ever want to purchase more and you want to get the exact, I can't get under the camera where you can see it, you want to get the exact same color match, it's kind of blurry today, then you can find that color match without just using the word. Know that the other brands, the Scholar brands, have a different number series. So they might have that Scarlet Lake color, but the number might be different. So the Premiers, Prismacolor, have PC, and the Scholars, I think they're like a 300 series. They're smaller numbers. Okay, so when you color with colored pencils, sure, you could color, all right? When you are in middle school, you are taught to color all in one direction. In fact, I guess that starts in elementary, where you color all in the same direction. However, I hate that it has stripes, okay? I can still see lines in this. When I color all one direction, and then I flip my paper, and then I color in the opposite direction on top of it. Still have stripes. I'll turn it the other way and go in the opposite direction. Still have stripes, but they're starting to fade. Okay? On a diagonal, and then let's change the diagonal. And it looks a lot better. I read a book one time, and it said that when you color with colored pencils, that you should do a circular motion like this. Okay, I'm going slower for the camera. But you should do a motion, let me back up. I feel like that's blurry. That's better. You should do a motion that's tiny little circles, okay, like this. So then as you color, you don't have a direction. But I'm telling you, that gets hard on the hand, okay? It just gets where it starts to get, you know, that muscle cramp going on. So when you use colored pencils, you should work in layers. You start with a very medium pressure, a normal pressure, and then as you go back over it, you start switching your colors. I'm picking up black cherry, and I'm going to start putting that on top. And you start to get that blend going on of layering and shading. Okay, let's try to put some yellow in it. Starting to put some yellow in it on this end. Okay, and you can kind of play around with these pencils and do some layering and some practicing. What's this? Purple Ponce. Ooh, boo-boo. Somebody sharpened this one on the wrong end. This is going to sharpen down where you can't see the number anymore. Bad habit to have. We're going to start putting some purple on top. Notice I'm starting to press a little bit harder. This is called burnishing. Okay, so I can take my colors and I can burnish by layering and changing the pressure of my pencils. Like I can start pressing hard. You'll notice that these pencils kind of crumble a little bit, but if you take your hand and brush off the crumbles, you will pick up little streaks. Like, I don't know if you could see that under the camera. There's the tiniest little red mark there, okay? Just by taking it and moving it on your paper, these little flakes. You're better off blowing or taking your paper and shaking it off, okay? So there's some things that you can do with color pencils. When you burnish, you should not see any of the white paper showing through, okay? None. So if you want that to be light in color, then you should start adding white. Let me show you the beauty of white. This is a white colored pencil on top of this. If I just broke it, let me sharpen. I have an electric sharpener. And if I take my white and I press really, really hard, you can see what that does. It starts to burnish. It does make it look a little milky and cloudier. Okay, let me zoom in without getting too blurry. It starts to blur. You can use the white colored pencils to burnish it down as well, and it keeps that lighter value. But if you notice, the white of the paper is still not showing. Okay, so let's go over this. Let's put yellow on this end. I'm pushing pretty hard. And let's go up into that violet color. I'm putting it on top of the white. Isn't that cool that I can layer colors like this? You don't get this with normal colored pencils. I'm going to put that white back on top. Look how rich and beautiful that starts to get. Okay? So it turns into like a painterly surface as you start to add more and more layers. Another thing you could do, if you have one, is use clear. This is a colored pencil that has no pigment in it at all. It's just the wax. See? There's nothing there. I can take this and run it over my colored pencils, my Prismacolor, and do you see what it does? It starts to burnish it down. I can go back, that's brown, and add my purple as well. And then go back over it with clear and do some layering techniques. Isn't that gorgeous? Okay. This magic little clear is amazing. How it doesn't change the color. Here, let's do it down here too. Let me add the yellow. Bring it up into the red. I have that purple up above. I think over here I use that weird cherry color. Yellow. Now, this pencil has a little bit of red on the tip. I'm going to clean it off, and I'm going to go back over that yellow. Isn't that cool? And it burnishes it all down. So here's the difference with the clear, with the white, and then these are just the colors. Okay, the clear almost looks just like the colors. In fact, it burnishes it a little cleaner. When you work with these colored pencils, you know, whatever object you're drawing, and you start to shade it, you're going to start light. So I'm going to start by pressing lightly with my pencil. And then I'm going to pull another color. I always clean them off. That one had some red on it. I'm going to pull some yellow into that. And then I've got a lighter green into that. And then I start to build up my colors. Darker green into that. And I'm starting to get a sphere. Let's run over it with my clear. And that is all burnished down. I shouldn't see anything just colored like you did in middle school. I don't think it's very pretty under the camera. Put a little blue in it. My camera's changed colors. I'm going to put a little dark blue into it. There we go. That's starting to change it. The complement of green is red. Let's put a little red in it. Neutralizes that sphere a little bit. Okay? And then you would have a shadow over here, obviously. All right, I just wanted to show you some things. Oop, we can't leave that. Let's go over it with a white. Now we've got a gray shadow. Little cast shadow from that sphere. Okay, so there's no just taking something and coloring it. And there's no just taking something and shading it. I want you to truly burnish. I mean, yeah, this is shading with colored pencils. But if I see the white of the paper, you're not burnishing. Okay?